I'm Danny Bonaducci, and you are watching Gov's Radio. This is where you go if you want to see something or if you want to hear something funny. Coming up in just a couple minutes. This is a joke I told. What? I'm not on Gov Radio? Call the police. Call my agent. Hi, I'm Danny Bonaducci, and you are watching Gov's Radio. This is where you go if you want to see something or if you want to hear something funny. Coming up in just a couple minutes. This is a joke I told. What? I'm not on Gov Radio? Call the police. Call my agent.
The Knockem Dead Comedy Radio Show also brought to you by Two Eagles Auto Body. For more than 25 years, Two Eagles Auto Body has been the leader in auto body repairs and customer satisfaction on Long Island. Two Eagles Auto Body handles every type of auto repair, from custom applications and restorations to repairs involving insurance claims. So call Two Eagles Auto Body and ask for John Rossi at 516-328-2527. The Knockem Dead Comedy.
Hi, everybody. All right, we're in trouble already. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Knockem Dead Comedy Show here on Gov's Comedy Club podcast. We're coming at you from the legendary Governor's Comedy Club right here in Levittown. I am sitting here with some very special people today. You guys have heard me talk about it a million times, that I am a part of the Nassau County Police Athletic League Special Needs Unit. So today we brought in the board from the Special Needs Unit. Well, I'm late. I hit my applause button. There we go. All right, sitting next to me is moving on. We have Eileen over here. Eileen is our administrator. This place doesn't exist without this place. I mean, the PLSNU does not exist without Eileen.
Oh, thank you.
As well as the man with the money over there, Joe DeBarry is here. Sitting on the couch, Rich Lopos, who is the president of the executive board. This is like he's the Godfather, and we got our capos, and of course, over there also on the couch, our policeman Frank Holguin. He's the man that makes it all happen. Of course, sitting next to me, this is Rob Pickus. He is he does. Rob's here. Ladies and gentlemen. Rob Pickus.
Comedy relief.
Comedy relief. That's what his wife says in the bedroom. Thank you guys for being here today. This is going to be a lot of fun. We're recording this. I'm going to be playing it tomorrow morning. So tomorrow's 9/11. It's a weird day for, I'm sure, many of us. But we're going to hope to make it light, and maybe if you're looking to get a little comic relief, maybe get away from it all, we're here. So you can watch this. I don't know. Do we want to? We can acknowledge 9/11. Anybody have any 9/11? I don't know if you probably have a 9/11.
No, not on the job yet. No.
You weren't on the job yet?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so never mind. We won't do that. So
it's one of the reasons why I became a police officer, too.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you just from watching it on?
Just watching everything was going on. The
No
cops
kidding.
going in there. So
Yeah.
it's just one of the reasons why I wanted to become a police officer, also, too.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. But since joining, do you know anybody? Have you met anybody that was there? Or
Yes, definitely
sure
a lot
you have,
of coworkers, and even somebody in PAL right now who's over there. He still has sickness issues and stuff.
No kidding. Yeah.
The breathing issues.
Yeah,
So.
that's awful. That's a shame. I actually, a close friend of mine, a guy that I grew up with, he was actually in here once. We did a 4-hour show in here on 9/11 because he's a retired city fireman.
Okay.
He was actually in both towers when they fell.
Really?
And he's here to talk about it.
Okay, yeah.
So that's fantastic. But yeah, he saw some crazy stuff there. All right, but as far as the PAL, the SNU is concerned, I've mentioned it plenty of times in here. We are the only, as far as we know, the only PAL with the special needs unit involved, which to me is just that's just crazy to me. I'm shocked. Now, Eileen, you've been the administrator from the very beginning, or no?
No.
But close to it, right?
2006, and then I left for 2 years and came back.
Right. But 2006. When did this? Do you know the history, right, or no?
I know somewhat.
Look, she's all official now. That she's
I
on
know
camera.
somewhat. No, I'm trying to think of when it started. Well, one of my best friends that I grew up with was a police officer, and that's how I started.
Darlene
Kilkenny. Yeah, I started with her.
She's hot.
She's gonna listen to this.
It's fine. I've told her right to her face.
And I just started coming to her programs, and then she said, I could use a secretary. So I said,
well, what brought you? What do you mean you started?
I was hanging out with her.
She
had
just
programs
wanted,
on Friday night, and when it started, they had 3 programs: 2 basketball, 1 bowling.
Okay.
And now we're up to how many programs?
Yeah, quite a few.
We have over 20 programs all together, not running at the same time, all together.
Right.
So that's how far we've come.
Sure.
And in 2010, we were part of National PAL. And I actually went to California, to San Diego, to speak. I gave two classes.
Right.
And I was shocked. There was not, in the whole United States, not one other special needs PAL. And still to this day.
Right. That blows me away.
We're not the only state that has special needs people, so I
Right.
can't believe that we're the only
Well,
ones.
let me ask Rich,
All
as
right,
part of
so
the executive
it's-
board, are we right about that? I don't know
You're
if you.
correct. You're
Yeah.
correct. It's a very unique situation we have here in Nassau County. Usually, when you talk about PAL units, they are the whole city, the whole county, the whole town. They don't have what we have in that structure where we're a corporation in the oversight of it all. We have 31 units, special needs being one of them. They invite, and these are across the country, they're allowed to, but to be very specific to the needs of the community, that is the only one that we identify as special needs unit. That's the only one across the country. And when we talk about it, people look at us like, well, can't you just put them in a regular program? And the answer is no. because they thrive much better in that atmosphere of themselves being with themselves in that sense, the same competitive levels and stuff. It's just completely different.
Plus,
Right.
they don't age out.
And we don't, yes, that's the other thing that's very unique. We don't have an age out. Usually the kids in the regular units, basically we start losing them what?
18. No,
Well,
what?
18 they're done.
Yeah, they're done.
But like 13 and 14,
Right.
as they start to get to those high school years,
Yeah.
a lot of these programs aren't built for them. Special needs, how far do you want to go?
Right.
Which is great.
I'm still,
And I
It,
also,
it bewilders me too. So.
yeah, absolutely.
I also found out at the conference that PAL, we're very fortunate because PAL, they said a lot of these kids in some of the areas that's where they go to get their meals for the day. It's not so much a recreational program. It's they're coming there to get breakfast or lunch. This is where they get their meals for the day because they're so poor. So it's not so much geared towards. And this is what I found out at the national conference. And I
So,
was like,
so there are some
"Oh."
PALs out there that
They just are giving
They-
kids a place to go because the parents are working in very low income areas.
but they're serving meals at
Yeah,
some.
they're giving them snacks
I-
and
I-
food
Yes.
and this
Kitchens and
right. I
everything
mean,
like that.
After school care programs, extremely popular across the country.
Right.
Like I said, they do offer food services. Some as early as come here for breakfast, get a healthy
Right.
meal,
Yeah.
go to school, come see us afterwards. Mom and Dad will be able to pick you up later on.
right.
But in the meantime, we're going to help you with your homework. We're going to give you something to eat.
Right.
And we're going to send you to school at lunch, too.
We're very lucky.
We're fortunate,
We
yes.
really are.
We are fortunate.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Wow. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, some of those units are,
A daycare.
it is, in no short terms, they're a daycare. And that's what they're built for, but that's how they're funded, too, even by the city or the state. We're fortunate in New York State
Yeah.
that we have other programs here, and we're that activity side of it.
Yeah, that's
Right.
Yeah.
that's what I know from being
Right.
here, but I had no idea when that
But
they
even
were
still,
that
I mean,
involved.
we still have some programs that will, the assistance is, if it's needed, that's what we'll do.
Right. I mean, I guess we see a little bit of that. We have, if we have-
Scholarships.
right? Scholarships for some participants who can't afford to do it otherwise. All right, so let me get a chance to with each of you guys individually. What brought you guys to PAL? I know I'll start with Rich and we'll work our way over. I know Rich, you're a fellow bellhead like myself.
Correct.
But we won't hold that against you.
Well, a lot of people do, so don't worry.
So yeah, how did you get involved in PAL?
I remember PAL as a kid, going down to the baseball fields, the basketball courts, the involvement and everything, seeing the cop there. I didn't leave where I grew up, Farmingdale. So my kids started to get involved. My father-in-law at the time was on the board. He was a police officer, and said, get involved with Farmingdale this way. And I started coaching and everything, loved it. And the next thing was, be our trustee. Start going to trustee meetings. Next thing was, we have a spot on the board. You got a lot to say. Maybe make that next step. So I did, and then this year I was fortunate to be voted in by the units as the president.
Nice.
And it's a humbling experience.
I bet.
You don't realize how much on the back end that has to be done, but it never feels like an obligation or work, knowing that what you all do, from our PO directors to our comic relief, the amount of effort and
Don't make
time
your face.
that everybody, these volunteers, and let's be honest here, it's a volunteer program, and how much time and effort is really put in. And again, with special needs, I just always been a big fan of that. Even to see that on Friday nights, you go down there, it's great.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think that's why
I
we're
peek
all
out the windows.
right. I mean, of course, some of us, personally, have kids in there, which is how we got involved. But I mean, you just nailed it on the head. To see how much fun they're all having, and how they, to see them all together, enjoying themselves, helping each other, the way they interact with each other, the friendships that have been made. I mean,
Between the kids and the parents.
right, the parents. Yeah, Joe's been at my house several times.
Yeah.
We've all formed, our bonds and our friendships, and it's, I'll tell you, it sure blows away, coaching like regular regular for lack of typical. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But even that, you talk to some of the parents over there, they like the way you guys have it structured because they get to go watch their kids be normal.
Yeah.
They get to watch their kids dribbling that ball up the court, doing the different and various it's you talk to them, and to them it's like, yes, here they are amongst themselves enjoying what they should have been enjoying the whole time.
Well, they're the same as everybody else. They want to be
Yes.
accepted,
Oh, yeah.
just like everybody else. Just wants to be accepted in whatever
And the
world
main thing
they're
is
in.
they can be themselves because they're amongst their peers.
Right.
They don't feel intimidated. Like you said before, somebody asked, why don't you just mix them in with the typical programs? Because they feel intimidated. They feel like they're not good enough, and they feel like they can't play. They can't play up to par. When they're with themselves, when they're with each other and their peers, there's nothing stopping them. Nothing.
Although
And now-
some of those basketball players, I'll
Oh
tell you
my
right now,
gosh,
they're
I
going to
know.
show a lot of people up.
Oh yeah, we do have some tremendous athletes.
Yep, we do.
Right? Yeah, we really do.
And now
Let's not
we
cut
have
anybody
the
short
older
here.
ones are mentoring the younger ones, which is amazing.
Yes.
Amazing. Right?
For sure.
And you hit it on the head because again, as bellheads, I'm a former union rep. It's a thankless job where where I think a lot of things like that when you're working behind the scenes, it's a thankless job. But here working behind the scenes, it's not a thankless job. You
No,
get
'cause
to
you
really
s- you
enjoy
get
the
to- you get
fruits
to
of what
see
you're
it,
doing.
Right. You get to see it. You get to understand it. Like I said, you just go there on a Friday night, and it makes all the difference.
Yep.
It's just like, yeah,
Yep.
I'm part of this.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And you walk away feeling like $1 million.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Frank.
Yes.
How did you? I know.
Well,
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, let's see. I've been a cop for 19 years, and I did pretty much 15 years on patrol in the first precinct. And I think it was just to the point where, you know what, 15 years on patrol, it's time for me to move on here. It's like seeing the same things every day,
The first precinct is what?
The first precinct in Baldwin.
Baldwin. Okay.
And it covers Roosevelt, Uniondale. I cover mainly East Meadow and Uniondale. That's where I kind of go when in that.
Yeah.
So, but it was just to a point where like I got to find something else, especially now the younger kids are coming up. I'm actually working with some of the kids that I worked with the cop as a dad. So I'm
wow.
like, it's like a long time. Like it's time to go. So one of my good friends I worked on, partners actually, worked with him for 12 years. He went to PAL first. And he told me, listen, you got to come over here. It's fantastic what we do. The units that he has, Hicksville and La Crosse, and what does he have? Headquarters unit, I think, right?
Yeah, he gets headquarters activities,
yeah.
right.
Nick Alvarado, I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I worked with him a long time. He just told me everything was great about the place. Just putting the stuff for the units for the kids and all that. I'm like, okay, I'll think about it. Another year went by. I'm like, you know what? I think it's time. Because he was there, I think, 2 years when I put my letter in to actually go. So and it's funny too because actually tomorrow, September 11th, is going to be the 4th year in PAL that I've been at PAL.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
you came?
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. That's
Oh,
when.
wow.
Yes, that's when I
Didn't
got
realize
the.
that.
And that's how it works. Just like anything else, you could if you want to transfer somewhere, you can
Exactly, you
just
put in for it.
Okay.
Exactly. So it doesn't mean you're going to get it. You can always put your letter. Just like your detective, whatever it is. Whatever you want to go. Put your letter in. You hope for the best. You see what you did as a cop for 15 years, and it's. I got recommended, obviously, with my CEO in the first and all that stuff. He goes, good guy, whatever it is. So, yeah, it's been 4 years now.
Wow.
So,
That
and
went
it's
fast.
it is
go
definitely
fast.
it's definitely a switch. Just coming from I'm under community affairs. Now you're dealing with people a different way that I was dealing with when you were on patrol. So it was a little bit of a shell shock for me because 15 years doing of the patrol cop is different from being a community affairs officer.
Especially in
PAL
Roosevelt.
officer. Yeah, exactly. So it's
Especially what?
Especially in Roosevelt.
yeah. So it's definitely a switch. But you know what? I wouldn't change it. This is fantastic. Like Rich was saying, watching the kids on Fridays, basketball, even flag football, all the programs, stuff like that. It's just
I would imagine there's like a sense of relief because you're not dealing with criminals. You're dealing with totally safe.
exactly.
Well, other than Tony, of course.
Well, right.
I was going to say, what are you talking about?
Well, you didn't do your background check yet, so I don't know.
No, I did it.
Did it?
You did it. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Oh, do I have to check my emails again? But I will say this, if I could just, at one point, PAL was down to 5 police officers.
Wow.
and it was very difficult to.
That's true.
Yeah, very difficult to get things going. To have the, I mean, they would literally come in and maybe be able to hit like 3 or 4 of their units a day. Where now they're a little more like you have what 2
I have
units?
2 units.
2 units.
Well, third one or league caps now.
Yeah.
So I have to say, big shout out to Commissioner Patrick Ryder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He came in, he saw the value of what PAL meant. His kids went through it himself, and he's like, "What do you need?" So with our former president, Frank DiVittorio, they came up with a plan, and a lot more cops we'll be able to bring in, which again
Gives more time for each police officer dedicated to that 1 or 2 units, whatever units you have, instead
I didn't
of
realize you guys
juggling
weren't
around.
on the streets anymore. Like, so wait, so what do you do specifically? You know,
I got 2 units. Got Franklin Square. I got special needs here, and also doing a lot of stuff with community service. You know, for
so what do you
other
like, specifically do? Like,
wherever they need me to go. Wherever they need me to go. You tell me like, oh, we got an event here. We got an event there. There's always something to do. So you know, it's like it's more dealing with like the community and not.
Christmas, the Christmas time with the. With
Oh
the
yeah, shop with a
dad,
cop.
the
Yeah, all
shop
that
with a
stuff.
cop,
Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
That kind of
It's-
stuff.
Well,
There's
yeah,
always
service.
stuff.
the buybacks with the medication you guys
Right.
are all
Yeah, the
Drugs,
shed, the meds.
drugs,
I got
right.
that actually coming up next week too. That's a great program too.
Right.
If you need to drop off your prescription drugs
Right.
anywhere, you know,
Anything in the community
yeah.
like
So
that.
I'm dealing with that more than actually being on patrol.
Well, and let's not, short sight this man. We're talking about, you say cops have.
you referring to his height?
No,
Oh
no.
wow! Well, I'm sitting down, so
A lot of the cops saying they have, maybe 2-3 units, and when you say units, we're talking about towns, basically.
yes,
But one of these units this gentleman has right here is county-wide.
yeah.
That's right.
Correct.
So hats off to him, and he should get more recognition. He should get a raise, by the way.
It's
I'll call Ryder for you.
one.
I don't think it's going to help, but
No.
I'll call him anyway.
Try. He'll try.
One of the things also too, when you were working on patrol, it was 12-hour shift, 7 to 7, and you're done. That's it. You don't have to think about it. You put it away. You go home, the family and stuff like that. Now it's a little different. Now it's like when anybody needs help with my 2 units, it could be 9 o'clock at night, not working, my day off, and you just got to
Yeah.
pick up the phone and deal with it. You know,
I've
It's like-
called, I've
yeah,
called you at
exactly.
4 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon, Frank. Like, we have a problem. Like any time. Like it
Yeah.
just you're
And
always on call.
Probably, yeah. That probably
Yeah.
my daughter's softball game on a
Yeah.
Saturday afternoon
Yeah.
or something like that. So
Yeah.
but it's
True.
it still doesn't feel like work though.
Right.
You know,
Right.
it's like
Yeah.
Right.
it's like working when I was
Right.
patrol. It's so different, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
And
It doesn't matter. Like you guys call me anytime you want. You
Right,
know that.
and you are. You're
Yeah.
good like that.
Yeah.
But it's
I'll call you
nice
through
because
this morning. See how you
and you can you've brought your daughters to some of the
Yes.
events, so that's
Yeah.
it teaches them the
Which is
value of the
great. Yeah,
community.
it
Right,
does.
absolutely.
It does.
And you mentioned Ryder. Yeah, we'll give a little shout out to Patrick Ryder, the chief of police here in Nassau County. What a great guy! I mean, how many our annual gala? How many times has he gone up there to give a speech and he'll say, "I'm adding another cop this year to
Yep.
PAL." He's tremendous.
His kids coached. They volunteered for us
Yes.
for our flag football
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah,
But-
he had
In
3
fact-
over in Wantua.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Wantua
right.
they came, yeah.
That's where they're from. That's where my kids went to school, and we had an incident there. Wow, it's got to be. It was before he was the chief of police.
Commissioner.
What did I say? Oh, commissioner. Okay, thank you.
Are you gonna get it for that one?
Yeah, probably. We had an incident in Wanto. We have a special needs guy who is a part-time custodian in our school district, and there was an incident where it wasn't in school, it was outside of school, but because this guy works in Wanto School District, but he lives in Wanto also. Special needs, and he's just walking through town, one day, and a couple of kids started teasing him, and he got all flustered and he threatened them. So, and somebody, he said something. He got flustered. He said he was gonna. Did he say bomb them in school or shoot them in school? I forget exactly what he said.
probably just said he's going to beat the crap out of him.
No, it was bombing. It was something a little more
okay.
No.
violent, So so the police came at school one day when he was working, and they came to get him because he threatened them, and he got even more flustered. They handcuffed him. They to the back of the car. They ended up bringing him to the psych ward because he was getting really upset. And who stepped up was Pat Ryder. I mean, this made national news. Once I don't know how they didn't realize he was special needs to begin with, but they didn't, and they like I said, put him in a psych ward, and it was just a big mess. But Patrick Ryder stepped up and helped this kid out, and just got everything taken care of.
Wow.
And again, this was national news. I'll never forget being at the school, big press conference, and there's Pat, right in the front of it all. He is just tremendous, and he's just a great guy.
Pat have anybody within his family that has?
Not that I know of. I mean, I know them from growing up, from being in Wanta with them, but I don't know them that well. I don't. Not that I know of. He might. I mean, none of his kids are, but I don't know about
Because usually there's some sort of a connection when you're that involved with special needs.
Well, that's right. But this guy who got arrested, he's Wanta guy. Pat's Wanta, so I don't know. Maybe he just knew him and maybe wanted to just help him. I don't know. But either way, he did a tremendous job, and I always think of that. Whenever I see him or talk about him, he's just phenomenal. And even at the gala, I mean, when he comes up to that podium to speak, I mean, that place goes nuts, man. Like they love him, right?
Yep.
I mean, because he was one of you guys. I mean, he was a Nassau County cop, so
Came from patrol and all that. Yep.
yeah. So in fact, my father-in-law was partners with him at one time.
Oh yeah, that's right. You told me.
Yeah, going back a while, but. All right. So moving along, Joe DeBarry. What brought you
I got
into?
involved with my son.
Yep.
He wanted, from when he was little, he wanted to play sports, and he couldn't compete with the other guys. He started off with soccer, with the PAL, the Merrick PAL actually.
Oh, okay.
And they were little, so at the time, being he was special, it didn't really matter because nobody knew what they were doing really with soccer then.
Right.
But as he got older and got into middle school and high school, he wanted to continue with soccer, and he couldn't compete with the mainstream kids. Even some of the others, but he tried out for teams, he didn't make it. With soccer, though, he's pretty fortunate because the coach of the soccer team happened to be one of his special ed teachers.
Oh, wow.
So he knew him. So he didn't make the team, but he let him be, the manager of the team.
Oh, nice.
And all the kids on the team, they took to him. They brought him to the games, and he was like, in the middle with them. They won the championship that year, and they brought him into the celebration.
Nice.
The team went out to dinner. They invited him along. So he got into that, but he couldn't compete in the regular sports. Then we found out about the special needs program. He started with basketball, and he loved it because now he could play, he can compete with the other kids. He knew some of the kids from school because some of them went to Calhoun with him. And, one thing led to the other. From that, we found out about the bowling, and he got into a lot of different sports. And, and he loved it because now he can compete with the other kids. They accepted. I mean, not that the other kids in Calhoun didn't accept him. They were pretty good from what, you think some high school kids, the way some of them would treat.
Oh, sure.
Especially kids. The group of kids that were on his sports teams were, they were pretty good with him. But, playing in the special needs unit, it was great. And then myself, I'd come, Friday night, watch him play basketball and everything. And I had just retired from work. And the guy that was treasurer before me couldn't handle anymore with his work schedule, whatever.
Well, he's not a very smart guy.
I didn't want to mention any names, get into any personality.
The train's not going to drive itself.
And I guess they knew about my background. Also as an accountant.
Right.
So they asked me if I wanted to be treasurer. So I'm like, yeah, it's, I'll contribute. Why not? Everything PAL's given to my son. Yeah, I'll contribute. And it's great, being involved and
Dom is such an incredible
well,
guy.
you're right. I was going to bring that up.
To it, yeah.
Dom, Dom's he's actually been on the show 3 or 4 times at this point. I lost count, but he's been here quite a bit. Was he was he always? I mean, we joke about it. He's the mayor. I mean, he talks to everybody,
He was
gets
always
involved
like
in
that.
everything, and then
He gets some serious
was-
women too. I see those
Yeah.
Facebook
He
pages.
is.
Pretty well.
He is a player. I'm like, be
Yeah,
careful, Dom.
He was
What are you
always
guys
like-
teaching these kids the special needs?
well, that program.
From when he was little, our next door neighbor used to call him the mayor of Belmore Avenue.
He really is.
So he's always been that way. He was always
Always.
just
He was
talking to
always
everybody,
like that,
getting
yeah.
involved in everything.
He was-
What a great-
people used to know me as Dominic's father.
Yeah. Still do.
Funny story. You know, when he was growing up, he used to go to camp and to religious instruction because he went to public school. And the nanny that I had for him didn't drive, so I used to send him in cabs. You know, I'd go, pay them, for a week's thing, so he didn't have to worry about paying him and stuff. So one time, my car was in the station. So I went to the train station. I took a cab to the train station. So coming home, I get in the cab to come home. I give the guy, he says, where are you going? I give him my address. He says, oh, that's Dominic's house.
Love that story. That's great. And going back to what you said earlier about, we even have some of
Right.
our participants that help out. I mean, that's Dom.
Dom.
He helps out with the
He loves that. He
coaching
loves it.
the
He's-
non-competitive
He
basketball.
takes
Unbelievable.
over.
Yeah.
Like, he overheard Tony and I talking one night. Something happened and our coaches didn't show up, right? And all of a sudden, I'm like, Tony, what are we going to do? We have no coaches tonight. What are we going to do? And he goes, we don't have to do anything. And we look out there, and there's Dom. All right, you go over here. And he, with the whistle, and he's running the entire game. And I go, all right, well, everything falls into place. We don't have to do anything.
Over the years, that's really helped his self-esteem, too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I
Manages
never
that
thought of that.
restaurant too, right?
Yeah.
He's been managing that
They
for
have a
what,
dish
15
named
years,
after him at the
18 years,
restaurant.
whatever it is, 20 years.
He's been there 20 years.
Right?
20 years.
Wow.
Right,
The
yeah.
same job, obviously,
Yeah,
but
but
he's
still.
been there 20 years.
Amazing. He manages
They have a
it.
they have
Yeah,
a dish on the menu
special.
named after him.
One
Do
of
they
the
really?
specials named after him. Veal Dominucci, they call it.
Is it kosher?
Veal.
I've never thought about that. How it must help their self-esteem. Being involved with each other, helping each other out.
Yeah.
That's never really occurred to me. Wow, that
great.
puts
It really
another
does,
thing in. Wow. All right, Eileen, who goes back to what did you say, 2006? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
And now I think maybe I don't know. Maybe we got onto other things. Do we know when it started or no? Do you
Don't know
I don't know,
exactly.
actually.
No.
That's a good question.
Did it-
I
I
don't
really
know.
don't. I'm
Yeah.
not sure when.
Because
it started.
I know, like you mentioned before, Darlene, like she was the first cop that was in charge.
she
but
wasn't. There was another police officer before her.
Oh, okay.
I wish I could remember what her name was. It was a female officer, and I can't remember her name.
So Maureen?
Yes.
Maureen, yep. Maureen
Yes. Yes, it was.
That's all the
And-
way back then.
Rush. So, yeah, way more, yeah.
Yeah.
Give that
and-
man a prize.
Yeah.
How far back? How far back would she be? Like,
Maureen's got to be at least 20 years.
okay.
Yeah.
So,
That's how
yeah.
long ago she was back into it, yeah.
But I really didn't volunteer. The first year, I just started coming to the games with
Yeah.
Darlene. And then I was like, and I started helping her clean up. And then I started helping her set up. And then I would start running with the kids and running back and forth. And then I started I became friends with all the kids. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna help this one. He needs help. And and I'm gonna. And then I was like, I'm so hooked on this.
That's how we bait people in. First, we asked them
Yeah,
to pick
yeah,
up some
right.
chairs. And then, can you help us with the tables? Maybe
Yep.
sign some kids in.
Yeah.
And then 20 years later, you're going,
You're
I'm
still
still here.
Here I am, yeah. And so, I mean, it was just, you just get, coming here, and I don't have a special needs child, coming here no matter how tired I am, if I had a lousy day at work, I walk in that gym, and I tell everybody this, you walk in that gym, and one of these participants will come running over to you, hi, like
For
happy
some
to
reason,
see you.
Noah loves you. I don't know why.
I know. For some reason. And I'm like, it just puts your whole day, your whole week into perspective.
Yeah.
You're
Right.
like,
And
Plus the
it-
fact that somebody's happy to see me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's oh hey.
No one wants to know when you're going to turn your hair blonde.
I know. His son. Where's your hair blonde? I'm like, it's not. It's never been blonde.
You're going to have to get that wig.
Yeah.
Your husband may like that.
Yeah, maybe.
Just don't tell him your first name.
But it's true. I mean, your son. But there's a bunch of these guys that come in
know.
and they're happy to see you.
I know.
And
I love it. I love it. I'm
Yeah.
happy to see them. I am.
Yeah.
I am.
I wish we could say the same.
I know. I know you read it, pal. So you can't beat it.
All right. Well, and here we go. We're up to you, pal. How did you? Now you've been involved. Not that long with us, but I know you do other
Yeah.
other activities as well, like the Challenger baseball.
Well, personally, honestly, when I came here today, I thought I was going to see a comedy show.
Yeah, I know.
So it was
Yes.
closed.
It
So
really did.
here I am. And then I heard
Well,
you were
when
going to do performance, and then I realized it wasn't comedy. So
So I'm going to be turning off that mic. Right, because whenever we do invite you to a real comedy show, you just forget to buy tickets and then
Right,
just show up
exactly.
Sneak at the back.
I figured I'd get free tickets. That's that. I am Jewish, so which is why you guys brought me onto the board. You needed a token, so
Got to check all the boxes.
yeah, exactly. Checks the boxes.
La 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 la.
But anyway, so where was I? So I actually
Was that your audition to do comedy or something? Is that what that was?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd like
You're
to
not
do
even
some-
close.
Okay, thank God.
You've been here quite some time now.
Yeah, well, within this specific board, it's been a few
Not
couple
the
of years.
board, but Noah's been playing
Right, but I
basketball.
meant
Oh, yeah.
I was referring to I was referring to him specifically being involved. But.
So initially, I got involved in baseball, and I was a coach in baseball. And then 10 years ago, I took over the Plainview Little League Challenger division.
Right.
And then Noah started playing all different sports. He played.
Oh, so you actually run it? The
Yeah,
Plainview?
I run the Plainview Challenger. Baseball.
I don't think I knew that. I just thought you
just
were.
don't pay attention.
Well, to you, no, not really.
You're
I'll
like
ask
my
you the
wife.
same question in a
You're
few
like my
minutes.
wife.
Yes, exactly.
So,
When remember at our fundraiser, his wife was all cleaned up, and I was like, "Whoa, who's that?"
Yes, I
so what do you think? She looks hideous all the time.
No, not at all. You do. You do. No, never.
She said, "Who's that?"
Yeah. No, she's a saint.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
My friend Linda, Italian also, said she's the first Jewish saint, but there's been other Jewish saints anyway. But
She
that's
is.
besides the point.
Okay, sorry. So you. All right,
We
so you're doing-
digress.
Yes, it's what we do here.
So-
All right, so you're doing the Challenger, and then
So I was doing Challenger, and Noah started playing some other sports. He skis. He plays. He did ice hockey for a while. He
Wow.
runs. He does. He's done just about bowling and whatever. He's done just about everything under the sun.
right.
Not too many sports he hasn't tried. And then we were looking for basketball, and so I came here and we started playing basketball, and he seemed to enjoy it. And then somebody who used to be on the board said, why don't you come join the board? And I'm like,
Right.
no freaking way. No freaking way. I was already overwhelmed with too many. I don't know if you remember, because you had.
I do.
Yeah, and I'm like, there's absolutely no chance I want to join the board. And
Here he is.
and she wrote me in, and meanwhile she's no longer here, and I decided to stay because it's a
No
good-
longer on the board. You say no longer here. She's alive.
Oh, yeah,
She's
yeah,
no
yeah,
longer on
yeah.
the board. Yeah.
and it's no longer on the board. And I decided to stay just because I saw the great work that the people in this room were doing, and
You as well.
Oh well, thank you.
You as well, Rob.
Can you tell that to my wife, please? She doesn't
I'll
believe
try.
me.
She doesn't believe
So-
me either when I tell her, but I'll try.
So, but it's just I enjoy the camaraderie we all have, and the work that we all do, and it's really very rewarding just being part of it. So
That it is.
yeah, so
Yeah.
that's my story, and I'm sticking with it.
It's a good story. It's a good story.
Thank you.
But while we're talking to you, you have quite an interesting story, which I think
knew
I
this
told
was
you.
coming.
Yeah, I told
I
you
knew
we were
this was
gonna
coming. Yeah,
get
yeah.
get into this a little bit.
Sure.
And I think it's fitting because we're talking about police athletic league, police, and you definitely have some police to thank.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
You want to tell us about that story a little bit?
Would you like me to go into the boat story? Is
Yeah,
that
that's what I'm talking about.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So
This-
on
I want you to take your shirt off and show us. That's what I want.
you want me?
Yeah.
Oh,
Wait.
Turn a little bit.
are you on the right side?
Look at
Oh wow.
Turn around.
Turn
Wait,
a
wait,
little,
pull my
turn a
pants
little.
out
No.
Oh, easy.
Right in my face. I'm gonna turn the.
Turn this
Yeah,
way.
yeah, right there, right there. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, right here.
Wow.
Like that.
Would you have a nightmare with Freddy Krueger?
That's what it looks like, right?
Yeah.
Freddy Krueger's hand.
My wife's gonna be like, "You're taking your shirt off again."
He was just looking for an excuse to take the shirt off
Exactly.
again.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't bring any dollar bills.
He's got to give them to us after saying that. All right, so yeah, so
So anyway, so
tell us the story.
It was last August 14th. It was my anniversary, actually.
Oh, was it really?
Yep. It was my 28th wedding anniversary, and we were on my friend's boat, and we were. It was just a beautiful day. We were in the Jones Beach Inlet, and I guess the tide was shifting, so he just wanted to reposition his boat, and so. You know, the ironic part is we weren't really drinking. We had maybe 1 or 2 beers, and so we repositioned the boat. And he said, "Take the anchor and go put it on the beach. You know, go off the stern and put it on the beach." I thought he meant right that second. It wasn't. He was still backing up the boat, and I figured we were in 4 feet of water, so I jumped in. I realized immediately it wasn't 4 feet of water. Let go of the anchor, thankfully.
Yeah.
And between the current, I was like 12 feet of water. Between the current pushing me towards the boat and the propeller sucking me, it was like getting sauteed. And you know, I started screaming, and I don't know why, but I started screaming, and
I don't know why.
You don't know why?
Get chewed up by a
I'm
boat.
being facetious. Jesus. No. So, anyway, so he immediately shut the water off. The people on the beach think I'm being attacked by a shark because there's blood everywhere. And a couple brave people came into the water. They dragged me onto the beach, and they put me, you know, my friend jumped off the boat, obviously, and he was leaning on me. He cracked a rib, which was okay because he was trying to stem the bleeding. I mean, he's a big dude, too. And long story short, as I'm bleeding out on the beach in front of my wife and you know, another friend who actually has special needs too. I kept saying out loud over and over, "I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay," because I had to believe that I was okay. Because if I didn't, I think maybe I would be dead.
Sure.
And I also didn't look at the wound or touch it because I think that would really set me off. And long story short, there was thankfully a physician's assistant on the beach, and she happened to be quite attractive from what I remember.
That you remember.
Remember him telling that story?
Yes.
So I need
I'm gonna be okay.
Wearing
Yeah,
a
yeah.
little bikini.
Maybe I can get this girl's phone number.
Mouth to mouth, he's yelling.
The extremes he goes to
But
to
wait,
meet
you're
women.
breathing. Why do you need mouth to mouth? Don't worry, give me mouth to mouth.
give it to
Give me mouth to mouth. So then the paramedics come, and they're cutting my bathing suit off, and I can never lose my sense of humor. And as they cut my bathing suit off, I remember saying, "Remember shrinkage?
Yes,
I was
yeah.
in the pool."
The water was cold.
Right, the water was cold. So then, thankfully, the paramedics come. The police came, and they airlifted me from this island, which I don't know how they even landed on this island. It's a small island. They airlifted me to Nassau University Medical Center right over here.
Yeah, right down the road. Yeah.
And they stitched Humpty Dumpty back together again. And I was out of the hospital 2 weeks later, and on a plane to Aruba 10 days later. So
Oh wow.
Beautiful.
yeah.
I remember. Yeah, I think before you left for Aruba, you were already out jogging too. if I
Well,
remember right.
I was out of the hospital in 2 days. I was walking about a half mile 3 days later, and then while I was in Aruba, I would do like a light trot, if you will, for like, you know, a couple hundred yards or something like that.
You are so
But-
lucky that didn't cut anything internal.
Well, I think part of the reason that I did survive, well, was positive thinking,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm a big believer in that myself.
and B, because you know, I'm in halfway decent shape from running.
right.
And C, you know, this is something that I that I learned in AA actually is believing in a higher power and it wasn't my time
Right.
to go yet. So I have more work to do here, and get another hang out with you chuckleheads. Then,
Yeah, well,
Well, thanks for being here.
and on that day, none of us know that this happened. It was a Sunday, right? Was it a
yes,
Sunday?
it was a Sunday.
So we
Very
have a
good
board
memory.
meeting that Monday, and so I send a reminder we have a board meeting, and he sends me the article in the paper, but it doesn't say the person's name. So I go, what is wrong with you? Why are you sending me this news article? You know this guy? I go, like, are you coming to the meeting? Like, now I'm getting annoyed because I'm at work and I'm like trying to get. And he goes, it's me. I'm the guy. I'm like,
I'm the guy.
what?
I remember that. Yeah.
It's a Nick.
Yeah.
It's me. I'm the
Merely a
guy.
flesh wound.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Flesh
oh
wound.
my god.
But meanwhile, I never got the FOIL report.
You still no
A
really?
year later, I still don't have the FOIL report. And
That's out of my control. There, you know.
Yeah.
What's
Did you make the meeting though?
No, he was at NCMC. He couldn't make it.
what's a FOIL? Is basically a police report?
It's,
Is that
the
basically what
Freedom
that
of Information?
Yeah, so you
Act,
can request it, but after a certain time. I thought you'd be able to get it by now.
You know what,
I think the case has to be closed, and I'm sure it was.
Well, that was a weird part. Is like homicide's coming to investigate me in the hospital, interview me in the hospital. I'm like,
I'm
why is
alive.
homicide interviewing me if I'm alive? If I'm dead, yeah, I can understand. But
It was a serious incident. That's why, you
but I
know.
was
But
alive.
homicide wouldn't investigate.
Well,
that?
I think they're just covering all bases. You know,
Gotcha.
Okay.
I'm sure it's a friend of the boat, all that stuff. Just want to cover all bases because it was a serious incident, and they go out and investigate that.
Yeah, they
yeah.
impounded his boat.
Yeah.
They gave him breathalyzer, which
Of course.
thank God he wasn't drinking because, to be quite frank, the guy's a major alcoholic. Like he's the one whose bachelor party I went to a couple of weeks ago in Atlantic City, who's up at 8 a.m. throwing them back.
Oh wow.
So
Was it the
yeah,
same one that I
was
went
never
to our
like that.
fundraiser?
Yeah, was that the guy?
No,
that was,
no, not that guy.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember that guy.
Remember that guy?
not that guy.
I remember that guy.
Everyone remembers Rich.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Okay.
He goes. He
was
said
a
to me the
regular
other day,
riot.
"I am never going to one of those fundraisers again." I'm like, "That's good." So I don't think you'd be invited
Not
anywhere.
invited, pal.
But you're absolutely right. Yeah, like I said, I believe in the positive thinking as well. I personally think that's just as important as the medications. Really.
Yeah, yeah.
You got to keep a positive attitude to get through it. Otherwise it eats you up, man. It's
Absolutely.
yeah, that's something. And the fact that you were out and about just within a days, that's
Yeah.
crazy, man.
I can't.
I'm just
Only
glad I
you.
wasn't facing the boat
Only
with the propeller going.
You know what I keep thinking about, and I don't know why I have that whole thing that you have this big gash in your
The Freddy
side,
Krueger thing.
and they drag you on the hot sand, and I just keep thinking about the sand getting in there.
No, well, they
Like-
think about it. They weren't dragging me with the wound side down.
I know, but still, you know what I mean? Like that's and the salt water and the sand, and
Sure.
Oh
that's
yeah,
all
I'm sure they cleaned it all out. I don't know. I wasn't even feeling.
That's what
that.
was like,
I
I'm like,
wasn't.
oh.
I mean, I just remember being so dehydrated and going into shock because
Yeah.
I remember being freezing cold, even though it was like a 90-degree day, and just being super thirsty. And they wouldn't give me anything to drink because they wanted. They had
Well,
to
because the
surgery.
water would then just go right out.
Right, exactly.
So watching too
The
many
cartoons,
cartoons.
right? Exactly.
Well, the when you were getting sucked in and you were seeing the propeller coming at you
Yeah.
I think that alone would have got me. I think I would have just died from
I mean-
a heart attack right there.
Well, I mean, you can't really see the propeller because it's under the water, but I was getting closer and closer to the boat, and I knew that was going to be a problem.
Right. So those few seconds of getting sucked in like that
It was.
Yeah, that must
and
have been
the worst part is
crazy.
I actually do remember everything from the incident.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
everything.
Wow.
So a lot of people they black out or whatever. I never blacked
or
out.
go in shock or something
Yeah.
when it's happening.
Yeah, but
That's nuts.
yeah, it was definitely an interesting time to say the least. And the funny part is, so a year later,
Yeah.
on my 1 year anniversary of that, I went out on my friend's boat again, just because I feel like you have to face your fears.
Okay.
And so I went on his boat. I kept getting messages, stay on the f***ing boat.
Yeah.
Don't touch that anchor.
Right,
Right.
exactly. And my wife refuses to go on his boat anymore. And
Wow.
even when we were in Aruba 10 days, or a week and a half later, we actually went on a catamaran. And I'm like running all over the place on the catamaran. My wife's like this.
Oh my God, jeez. Wow.
But
Yeah, I can't
never
imagine.
said I was sane, but that's another story.
Did that have anything? I don't know if I'm getting too personal. Just say so. But
listen, I'm an open book. So
right, and I've heard that about you, that you're open. Did that did that have anything to do with AA? Did that change your perspective in anything?
No, that was something else. That was just listen. I was with the AA thing. I just decided actually 83 days ago. Today that it's enough, just because I was going hard, with the I wasn't like my friend who got up at 8 a.m. to drink, and I wasn't drinking by myself or anything like that.
Right.
It's just like Thursdays I'd go for liquid lunches with one of the partners in my office. Fridays I'd go out to lunch with my friend Rich. And we'd throw a few back, and then I'd go to happy hour, and and it just
Changing times, yeah. They just claimed
they just filed
Chapter 11.
Right. I kept that place open single-handedly. But no, it's just and all my friends in my neighborhood, they will never admit to it. They're all alcoholics on some level, and it was affecting depression and anxiety, and it was just affecting all these things, and I can honestly say, because my business was not doing very well, and it's still not great.
Oh wow!
But it was making it worse. It was exacerbating the problems.
Sure.
And so I can honestly say, even though business hasn't picked up yet, it will, but it hasn't picked up yet. I'm better equipped to handle the adversity and the negativity.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
listen, I'm a big. At first, when I went into AA, I was really embarrassed. Because you think of Otis from Andy Griffith,
Sitting in the jail cell.
exactly. The vagrants. Listen, when I go into these rooms, I'm clearly not nearly as in bad a shape as a lot of the people that are in there. I was never arrested, thank God. I never, did anything violent. I never,
They come in all shapes and sizes.
Absolutely,
My grandfather owned
absolutely.
a bar, and I can tell you that as a little girl, watching these people come into the bar, men, women, they come in all shapes and sizes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
absolutely.
that was something that I learned with cancer was there's always somebody that has it worse, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
But that doesn't mean your situation doesn't
Right.
suck too.
Right.
So that's kind of
And you,
Yeah,
related
and
to.
and good for you.
thank you,
doing
thank you.
something.
But
I mean, really, I think that for you to actually admit that you have a problem and go and do something about it, and to make yourself feel better, you're the most important person.
But
in
now
your
he
life.
doesn't have that excuse to fall back on for being such a dick.
But we all knew that he was
Right.
just one anyway.
Right.
It had nothing to do with the alcohol.
Exactly.
It had nothing to do with
That's
that.
just pure
We
personality.
knew. You weren't hiding anything from us. It's all
I blame
right,
my
Mom.
parents.
You didn't fool us.
My mother, my therapist would say it's all my mother's fault. So
Oh, yeah. Always blame the mom.
it's always the mom.
Always the mother's fault.
Poor mom. But honestly, it's been it's. I went from being embarrassed by it now I talk openly about
That's
it and
great.
talk to my friends about it, just because there's a saying in AA, trust God, clean house, help others. And so I believe firmly in that,
Yeah.
I want to be, listen, if I hit I even said to I go to the Kenneth Peters Center. It's an intensive outpatient program here in Syosset. And I even said to these therapists, listen, if I can hit the lottery and just pay off all my bills and debt, I would love to like go become a therapist at this intensive outpatient programs, because I talk to people. I'm not even equipped to be a sponsor, but I call people in my group, like young kids in my group, just because I want to help them.
Right.
So,
That's awesome.
Great.
Yeah, good for you, pal.
This turned into the Rob
really.
Pickett show somehow.
What's that?
This turned into the Rob Pickett show.
I know, I got to switch gears. Nobody's going to watch that.
Yes.
Right, exactly. Unless you want me to pull my pants down.
No. Move on.
Next episode.
Move on.
So now, Tony, your chance now.
All right,
Yeah, Tony, how did you come to
We've all
PAL?
talked about.
A good question. I don't
remember?
even
It was an
know.
A&E.
No, I don't remember. Well, Sammy started with the karate program. That's how we got. That's how I,
Is that what she started with?
She started with Joan in the karate.
karate?
Oh yeah,
Wow.
Sammy was. She'll be 25 in March. She started. I think she was 7 or 8 or something.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
and Joan was running the karate program,
Yeah.
and Darlene. That met
Yeah.
Darlene, and at the time, like you had mentioned, the PL only had, I think, maybe 3 or 4 programs
There
at the
weren't
time.
A lot of programs at all.
And I remember watching from afar, just watching, this program is added, this program is added, and then she moved, then she went to basketball, and Sammy's the same thing as Dom. She always wanted to get involved in more and do more, and the Wantua girls basketball team did the same exact thing. They brought her in, they made her a manager, and they included her and everything, and. One of their coaches, I think she might even still be there. You would know. Who's the hottie from News 12? You'll know it.
Hottie from News 12.
The blonde.
Oh, Erin Colton?
That's it. Thank you, Erin. I knew you would know that. She's a coach there, and
interesting.
yeah. So
You're right, yes.
hats off to her. She was there for Sammy. She made sure
wow.
Sammy was taken care of, and
That's great.
and made sure that she was a part of everything. And Darlene was also Wantua. So, Ryder was there, and Darlene was. So I think I just got to know Darlene from seeing her around and just hearing what programs she was adding. And so Sammy would just get more and more involved. So, she did the basketball, but she did the non-competitive. And she enjoys playing, but she's high-functioning enough to know that she can't play with the typical people, but she hated the non-competitive. She wanted to play.
Right.
And even though she also knows, flat out that she's not, one of the better athletes out there. And she knows that there's, she's not playing at Dom's level or some of the other guys' level, but she wanted to be competitive. She wanted it to mean something. Same with bowling. I mean, she takes the bowling really seriously.
Yeah.
And we've been fortunate. Dom and Sammy are on the same team.
She's improved tremendously from what she started.
It's crazy. I mean, her
Yeah.
average is like around 150 somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, she's.
She's the anchor of the team now.
Well, thanks, but it's amazing. I'm blown away by how far. And sometimes we're talking about that day at bowling. She'll say she'll talk about how it hooked and how it did this, and she used bowling terminology. I'm just in my head. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I guess I don't know if she goes on. She just Googles it or goes on YouTube. I don't know, but that's how much she's into it. She goes online. I'm assuming, but she just wants to be competitive, even though she knows she's
That's
not
awesome.
the best at it. But and we talk about it a lot. So that's how I got on the board, because I'm there every Friday, and just watching. And a past board member just came right up. I'm sitting there watching basketball, just sitting in the bleachers one night. Came right up to me. You want to join the board?
What?
Yeah.
I heard you had hair before you joined the board.
2 legs. I just 2 weeks ago I was down in Kentucky. Lisa and I took a little vacation, and it was hot as balls down
no.
there. I can't tell you how many
no.
people are just, can I ask you? Shark. I have like
There's
half.
a boat propeller.
Yeah, right. I should have said that. Google it. You'll see the story. But I have like half of Kentucky thinking that
Why would
that is
they?
a shark.
I can't imagine going up to somebody and asking
Yeah,
them
why
to
would you
your
do
leg.
Well, you know, and just
Like, I
yeah.
would never ask someone.
Actually, just it happens all the time. Just like a month ago, I was coming in here one morning, and this deli next door has I don't know if anybody's familiar with it, but they have a drive-through. It's
Yes,
Oh.
yeah.
saw that. Mhm.
So I'm walking through the parking lot. A guy jumps out of his car and he's literally running to me. I froze. I stopped. I'm like, what is this? You know, like I didn't know what was happening. He was, I got to ask you what happened there. I'm like, oh. And he said something about, it turns out he's having trouble. He's been thinking about, I don't know what his issue was, but amputation is like a possibility for whatever he's got going on. So he wanted to know.
Okay.
Uh,
That's
so I was-
different. I mean, if somebody's
Yeah.
But that's usually,
have that.
but that's usually what it is.
But did he really run over to you?
You know,
Well, he hopped. That's actually in my act. I say, you know, when I'm doing stand-up, I say I got to change my name from Walker to Hopper. But there was actually one other guy in Kentucky that had a prosthetic, so he just became an amputee. I think it was 2 years ago, so he was asking all sorts
What
of
about
questions.
what you did to Matt from Pioneer?
Oh, I forgot about that.
So one night we're in basketball.
Friday
We
in
got there
basketball.
early and we're waiting for the kids to get there and everything. And Matt from Pioneer comes in, and he's like doing like stretches against the wall. I'm like, "What's the matter, Matt?" He goes, "My knee is killing me." I go, "Oh, I have a bad knee too." So we start talking about our knees and what's wrong with our knees, and he's like, "You guys are a bunch of amateurs." So I start laughing, thinking that Matt knows Tony has a prosthetic leg. Apparently, he didn't.
I didn't realize he didn't know either.
Right?
Yeah.
So Matt looks at him. Tony takes his leg off and goes like this with the leg. Matt, I never saw somebody turn so white. He turned white and he was
He was
like,
shocked. Yeah.
he just stood there like this. With his mouth, and I go, Matt, you didn't know he had it? He goes, no, I didn't. Right?
Oh, yeah.
You ever use that thing as a weapon?
Well, I have the vibrating attachment. I have the
You sit
rocket
on that.
attachment. What's that?
You sit on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't some kids
Wouldn't
ask
you if you had one? What?
And one of the kids asked you at the Parents Against Kids softball game, what happened to your leg? And you said shark.
Oh, yeah.
Just
That's
at
my
the- at
stock
the-
That's
answer.
your story.
Shark got me.
Yeah, absolutely.
He told me
Really?
that. He told me that too.
Did I?
Yes.
Wait, it wasn't?
Shark attack.
Yeah.
Oh,
Funny part is in the
man.
Mississippi.
Yeah, that's always my answer. But but let me switch gears a little bit. So the one thing that well, you're talking about being involved with Challenger first, and me too. I was the Wantua Special Ed PTA president for 5 years. So I think we all have that sucker on
Yeah.
our back. We just I've seen from being involved in special needs organizations, you see a lot of the same faces, and a lot of, even though it's a growing community, but you still see a lot of the same people. But when I was part of Wantua SEPTA, we were at an awards dinner, and somebody was getting an award for their participation in whatever they were doing, but they were giving a speech, and I take that back. They weren't giving speeches. This lady got her award, and she asked if she could say something. So we're like, yeah, go ahead, of course. She turned to the special needs kids, and she started just talking about how much she's learned from them.
So true.
Which, I mean, a bell just, went off, above my head. Like, I never thought about that. And it, right. And it is,
so
it's
true.
true. Like,
Yep.
from being involved in the special needs community, seeing our guys in action, so you guys find that too? Just
I agree.
Yeah.
I totally
like you get a
agree.
little bit of a different perspective
Yep.
on things, yeah?
Though it's funny when I won, because I won the SEPTA award in Plainview. They gave me an award in.
So there was not a lot of people involved, I guess.
I think I was the only nominee. So.
And he still had to pay somebody to win.
Exactly.
It was him and the
But-
shark that took your
Yeah,
leg.
let's Shark.
I was probably half in the bag, and I said, "Thanks for the award."
You took your shirt off there too.
Right, exactly. I didn't even get by a shark attack yet.
It is
yeah,
very-
you learn, you get a different perspective.
It's so
and,
true.
like sometimes I watch these guys. I'm like, yeah, they kind of like you almost think they sometimes they have it right. They like the things that are important to them are things that I think we take for granted sometimes.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
like things like basketball and like that's big on their
Well,
agenda.
for
you know?
them, I feel like they just want to be there and play. Like like when Noah misses a basket, he doesn't give a shit.
Right.
You know, like
Yeah.
I care more.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I'm the one that counts the baskets.
Yeah.
He doesn't
Right.
give a rat's ass. whether
I've
he
heard
hits-
you yell at him. Get that shot, you mother! How did you
Yeah,
miss that?
exactly.
You're so
Exactly.
fucking punished.
Well, I will yell at him if he doesn't focus.
Well,
Right.
right. That's different. Right.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
But you're right. I
Not
mean,
in a mean way, but
right. But the way they do, the
Don't
way
call
they
CPS.
last name Pickus, the way they help each other. I mean, again, Dom is one of the bigger
Yeah.
examples of that.
He's awesome.
Dom's been a big help to Noah. Dom, he worked a lot with Noah.
Yeah, he did.
And he
And
actually
he
set his
enjoys it.
initial
He
record.
loves it, yeah.
Yeah, he set his initial record with Dom.
He what?
He set his initial record with Dom,
Oh,
Dom
no,
and-
the shots.
Yeah, the shots.
Yeah,
on
yeah,
the,
right.
baskets.
But even in the actual games, like they'll move out of the way if one of the guys that may not be as good can
Yep.
to maybe get a few shots until they get the basket, and even if they're on opposite teams, you'll see them pulling each other aside to talk and help each other out. And
Very humbling experience. It
absolutely,
really
absolutely, and it really does. It makes you kind of
is. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I see it in also not only here but also in baseball.
right.
Our program. When I took it over, we had like a dozen kids one season. We never played any games against any towns except the Challenger tournament, and it became because I have such fantastic coaches. Now we have like 60 kids.
Wow.
We play
That's
three. We have 3 teams, majors and minors and rookies. We play the fall season and the spring season. We play against other towns. And I'll tell you, it's just I love that my Sunday mornings because I know these kids are getting something.
Right.
From,
Yeah.
and
I
it's
do
the
like-
same with Palo. All Palo sports
Right.
too.
But you want to talk about the participants, the kids that we call them kids. We have some kids that are 30s and
Yeah, I try to-
You know
How
what I
old
mean?
is the
It's like
oldest?
Yeah.
we
How
still
old
call
is
them
the-
kids,
like
huh?
kids in
You know how old the oldest is?
How?
Well, we have guys in their 40s.
38,
Yeah.
40 something.
Well, I know.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if we say names, but we have one. Mark. I'll just leave it at that.
38?
No, he's 41. I
Is
believe.
he really?
He's
Wow.
definitely over 40. I'm positive.
Yeah, but that's why I said we call them kids, but they're not
Yeah,
kids.
they're
Anyway,
adults.
Alcoholics Anonymous. Are you only using first names?
when we
Well, I don't know.
yeah, when we first
Hi,
introduced
I'm Mark.
yoga,
Hi, Mark.
when we first introduced yoga to special needs unit, this lady called me and wanted to do yoga, and I'm like, you think you're gonna get 10 special needs kids to sit still and quiet for an hour? Good luck. Go ahead, try it. And she put me in my place because they loved
Yes.
the yoga
Yeah,
program,
right.
loved it,
Yeah.
and everybody. It worked out great. So anyway, fast forward a couple of years doing yoga, and they ended up giving me their award, whatever it was. And I was like, I don't want the award. I don't want it. It's okay. And no, you're getting the award. Okay. So we go to this dinner, and I'm like, oh my God, there was like 200 people in this room. And now I have to get this award, and I have to go up and say something.
Really?
I was petrified.
Yeah.
I did not want to go up there.
Public speaking.
So some of our kids were there because the board members had some of our participants. They brought their kids with them. They hear me, unbeknownst to me, they hear me telling somebody, I am not going up. I can't. I'm petrified to go up there and speak. I can't say anything. I'm just going to say thank you and walk away.
Sure.
So they call my name, and I mean, my hands are sweating and everything. And they call my name, I go up there, I'm shaking, and all of a sudden I turn around, and they're all behind me. All the boys were behind me.
Oh.
And they said, don't worry, we have you.
Oh wow.
And I was like, yeah. And they were all standing behind me, about 5 of them. 5 of the kids were standing behind me. And I said, well, and that was my speech. I
That's
said,
because
well,
you
I
got
was
to put your pants on? Or?
petrified. yeah. I said I was petrified to come up here, and knowing that I had to give an acceptance speech, I said, but this is why I'm
Yeah.
up here. I said,
Right.
so that's all I'm going to say, and thank you. And they walked me back to my chair. And it was, you want to talk about humbling?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Wow.
And that was probably one of my best experiences
Yeah, that's
being with
amazing.
SNU. It really was.
For sure.
Well, let's.
Because I didn't even know they heard me.
Right, right.
And I walked up and I was like, oh, and I turned around and there they all are, and I'm like, what are you guys doing? You know? And they're like, we got you, don't worry.
Well, let's talk about you for a second. So,
Why?
well, I said,
You want the audience to sleep?
Why? Talk about Rob again.
well, I said in the
That's my
beginning.
favorite topic.
I said in the beginning you're our admin, and we talk about what Frank does and what our jobs are, and Joe said he's the accountant. But you, explain your job with the PAL.
So I work with Frank.
Right.
And I set up the registrations. I go through Frank, like we'll say, okay, Frank, we got to open up basketball. We have to open up bowling, yoga, whatever. Frank tells me the dates. He'll set up, make sure we get the dates and the times and everything. And then I'll go onto the website and set up the registrations, open up the and we open up the registrations, make sure that people can register. If they have a problem, they'll call me. I take all the phone calls, the emails, help anybody with
Send out
anything.
400 emails.
Oh my God. So many.
Get 'em
It's
all.
more phone calls than anything. And then I also am the track coach. You and I go to basketball every week. We make sure there's no problems there. I mean, I don't know. What else?
Just handle pretty much
You
day to
handle
day.
permits if we, the permits for our programs.
Permits, right, emails.
Set up events.
Right.
Like we do events. We try to do events all the time, like
Your fundraiser,
the fundraiser, our big fundraiser. We do like a fishing trip. We do
The Christmas.
Christmas
right,
party.
Ugly sweater.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's put it this way. What don't you do?
Right. Exactly.
No, but
It's
I
true.
gotta tell you,
Correct.
it's a
It's
team effort.
You gotta ask
though.
your husband that.
It really is. And he better answer that correctly. It's a team effort. I mean, and I have to say, Frank is a very hands-on police officer for our unit. He really is. I mean,
Which is great. I love
we
doing
could
it.
call him, really call him at 9 o'clock, like he said, 9 o'clock on a Monday. Hey, Frank, we go, okay, no problem, I got it. And just help us with that. You know what I mean? Like,
Too bad it's not good phone calls. It's always, this can't be good.
He'd be
Yes.
calling on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, I'm like this.
What's the matter?
Oh boy, here we go.
I'm in the shower.
Yeah. But I mean, really, I have to say this board is probably the best board that I've been on, and we all work together. Not that they were bad boards. I don't mean that. I mean,
Yes, they were.
But this board, we all really work together as a team. It's really
cohesive. It's very.
It is.
Definitely
It's
want to
very,
thank everyone here because I know how hard it is to get volunteers and for you guys
God,
to
I know. I
actually
wish it wasn't.
do this and stick to the day to day and putting the programs, all that stuff. It's very difficult. Just want to thank everybody here. I know Rich has
Yeah,
been here a
thank
long
you
time
guys.
as a volunteer. Tony too. Everybody here is volunteer.
Yeah.
So it's just very difficult and you don't get that at other places. It's very hard to get even coaches too,
Yeah.
and now for you to be on the board,
So
it's
hard.
totally different. That's why I like hearing the awards you guys get, and you feel like you shouldn't get them, but you
No,
should.
it's
You-
because you do it because
it's
you
good.
want to do it,
Yeah.
not because you want that.
Well, you need the recognition too. I think
Sometimes you do. You
yeah.
need the pat on the back when you
exactly.
just indicated, but
Yeah.
it's important.
because it's thankless. It's thankless. pretty much. Yeah.
But not that I'm disagreeing, but to me I've been on the board. I don't know, maybe 7 years, give or take. I forget now. President. When COVID started, is when I became
my
president.
God, the
Oh,
worst.
geez.
Yeah, that was.
That was bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
But the
Tony's like, I'll be president, and then bam, everything happened.
Well, co-president.
well, yeah.
That's another story for another day.
You had to go there.
But as far as recognition is concerned, so when I first started on the board, you guys know I was not with my wife at the time. We'd split up, but I was with somebody else, and that was a whole new world to her. She didn't know the special needs world at all. She was never involved in it, and she started once in a while would show up to something and hang out or whatever. And she said to me one day, I forget, I want to say it was basketball, but I'm not positive. I don't remember. But we were on our way home, and she said, "Man," she goes, "those kids love you." I was, what are you talking about? Like, she goes, the way that I saw some of them just lit up when they saw you there, and that I was like, I didn't even never thought of it. You don't think about it, right?
Yeah.
But that, and then I don't want to say she's correct, but but it did kind of open my eyes, and I would start looking every week to see because I'm happy to be there too. I'm excited. I love Friday night basketball.
Yeah.
I like when it's not running. for that month
I
in
know.
the summer.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, when's it
What's
starting up
coming
again?
up?
But
Yeah.
so I realized too, like I'm excited to be there, and even this weekend we started our after the summer break we started up again. Couldn't freaking wait for it to get there. Like all week last week, I'm like, oh,
And
I
it's
can't-
so
this is-
awesome that we have so many new faces.
right.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Our younger program, our recreational program, we have so many new faces and such a positive.
Yeah.
People that believe in, right? How many came out? Oh, this was great.
Yeah.
We had
Oh,
such
yeah.
a great time.
Yep.
Oh, she had such a great time.
You know what's
Like,
great when they actually go from actually
Yep.
the beginners to the events now.
Yep.
So that's
Yeah,
getting bigger
sure.
too. That's
I'm
great.
So, it's
Yeah.
so nice. It's so nice.
It's I always find it to be kind of up and down because it's nice to see we're getting more people and we're doing our thing and everybody's having fun, but at the same time, see the community, the special needs population still growing.
Right.
So it always, I always kind of,
Yeah.
see it on both sides, but it is. I think about like aides that work with our kids. The people that the
these
pay.
guys that come from the houses,
Right.
Unbelievable.
Right,
Those
it's-
are truly special people.
Yeah.
It is like in a strange way, it's excellent job security. This is like a booming business.
yeah. I'll
And
tell you,
it's a weird way to say that, but it's true.
Well,
but
the
it's
numbers keep going up.
I've actually had a couple of those. The people from that work in the homes come to my house and
Yes.
and spend time with Noah. Like if my wife and I have some place to be or whatever the case may be, and they love it, they appreciate it, and they're
Right.
all amazing
Yeah.
kids.
They
They're
really
home kids.
are.
They're
They all
23,
work hard,
21.
man.
They do work hard.
So,
Yeah, absolutely. So all right, so we got a few minutes left. I know Frank's got to leave you got about 10
Yeah,
minutes.
I got 10 minutes. Yep.
All right, yeah.
Yep,
Well, so
so
we'll
good.
wrap it up and.
we do have Sunday night football,
Oh, that's right. I
It
totally
started
forgot.
already. Don't worry about it.
Oh boy!
Don't worry. Hurry up.
Don't worry about it. As in, you already know the score.
No, not yet. I'm not looking.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to have a bad look on my face.
Well, you really can't help that.
No, not really.
Oh my God.
So I wanted to ask Joe, how hard is it to work with the accounting firm that the PL has? Do you deal with them a
I
lot?
don't really deal with the accounting firm.
But when you do, they're like, they don't know what they're doing, right?
It's his mother.
That's right.
You're so
told you.
mean.
Wrong with you?
I told
His
you.
mother. He's such a.
Total coincidence.
Yeah, that is
I didn't
funny.
even know until I was on the
Yeah.
board that my mother
You
works
are
for the.
so messed up. Oh my God.
My mother's been working there for over 40 years.
Wow.
What?
Which
Yeah.
firm is this?
What's that?
What's the name of the firm?
Milligan Muller.
Milligan Muller. So I had to think about it. They're
Wait, you don't
They're in
use
lo-
Jews? I mean, I don't understand.
What happened?
How do you not use a Jewish firm?
Irish, man.
yeah, they're not actually. Neither Milligan or Muller is even there. Like they've been gone for like 20, 30 years.
Yeah, then you watch All in the Family.
Yeah.
Get me the Jews.
Oh, that's true.
You're such an advocate.
I got to support my people.
And my mother does watch this show, so tomorrow night I'll be getting a phone
Oh
call.
yeah.
Yeah.
So at least one person watches it.
Right. There you go.
Didn't you like put her face on the mugshot for the terrorist
I think that
time
you'll-
on Facebook? And she came busting into the doors at PAL. She's like, "Where is he?" He put her
no,
face on the mugshot.
No, that was the
I'm
thing.
gonna
It wasn't.
spank 'em.
Yeah, right. That was the thing. It wasn't even her face.
Oh, I
it-
thought it was.
It
It
was.
was her picture.
It was no. It was somebody that I just personally thought kind of had a resemblance to her, and then. I think I put them next to each other. And
Oh,
I put
that's what it was.
And I put a wanted sign
Busting through that
But
door.
then-
Where is he?
Well, that was the thing. So what happened was there's right by where we play basketball in Hicksville, right down a block is a place called the Sweet Shop. I don't know if anybody's familiar with
No.
it. I love this. This place has been in Hicksville since the late 40s. They make their own ice cream. And they have,
yeah.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking- I've never
I
been there, but I know
love
where
this
it is.
place.
It's right by the trestle.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and I know the family. I went to school with some of them. I've been going there. I'm a regular there for years. So, and I have some friends who are regulars there as well. So one of my buddies who's a regular there, he printed that picture out, and he put it on their window.
Oh no! Oh no!
My mother then happens to go there for lunch with one of my aunts, and then
It's just hanging in the.
I thought she saw it on Facebook because you put it on Facebook. That's where I saw it.
Yeah, I did that too. Yeah, you know. Well, that's what I'm saying. I put it on Facebook as a joke, and then my buddy printed the picture out and put it up. So yeah, so then she came to best. I think that was the first time I was seeing her since. And yeah, she was not happy.
Man.
You're really okay with this guy running the place?
He keeps
Maybe
things
we
live.
need
Anyway.
insurrection.
He keeps us laughing, that's for sure.
You should come to one of our board meetings.
It's a miracle we get anything done.
It's like 5 minutes of business. The rest is all this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, there's no term limits on this thing, right? So you guys aren't stuck with me.
I don't know. I'll let you know next week.
And and thanks for that segue. Speaking of next week, we have a very special night this coming Friday where John's Crazy Socks, and feel free to chime in anytime you want with this. They're making so John's Crazy Socks. For anybody who's not familiar, John is a young man with Down syndrome, and he designs different types of socks, and his father turned it into a business.
Very successful business.
Very successful. I mean, the people
They're out everywhere.
So they're basically customized socks that they make. People from all over the world order socks from him, and they have a great program. They bring in special needs people to kind of help out around the place. In fact, Sammy with her Dayheb ACDS, where your wife works.
Yes.
They go there a few times a month and they help out. It's fantastic.
Oh
And
wait, does she like sell the candies and stuff like that? Because I know like this guy Ray from my baseball team, whose father actually does he built that playground.
my
there.
plumber's aunt's mother. What are we talking
No,
about?
He actually wasn't. So does she go into the schools and like sell the candy like during special events and stuff like that?
No.
Oh, okay. Cause,
No, she actually goes to their office and
and does office work.
Yeah.
Okay.
office work or
Oh,
help
okay.
with orders, whatever.
I got you.
So
Now-
as you order a package, he brings people in to help out special needs units. Not special needs unit, but special needs kids come in. They help them. John himself teaches them how to do it. But one of the things they do is
John is what, like in his late 20s, right? I believe.
No, I thought
And
he
they
was
do
Oh, he's
this-
older?
than that.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
is
think
he
was in
older
his
than that?
30s.
This
Yeah.
Oh,
is in the
sorry,
ACDS building.
No.
No,
They go to
at
him.
the place.
Oh,
They go to him.
at
No,
No, this is a
their-
business.
Yeah.
This is
Okay.
They're
John's
located
business.
over in East Farmingdale.
Right.
Well,
Gotcha.
Farmingdale.
Yeah, it's right off 110.
Yeah, and they put candy in the box. So.
Is that what you Farmingdale
Okay.
people do? Like East regular, like you get a little,
we got
sensitive
East,
to
we
that
got
stuff.
South, we got the Village. Come on.
Yeah.
It depends on what side of the tracks you want to be on at that point. I live on the wrong side. No.
Right. So he.
So Tony lives on the tracks. So.
Oh, that's a good one.
A shark driving a train.
With the propeller going out the back.
Yeah, it's a mess.
So sorry, John. So he shows them what to do. So they help out, and so they designed a sock for PAL.
Well, no, what they did is they actually, right now they have different various things. So one of they do is they have a cop sock, okay? So right now what they're doing is, listen, you want to form a partnership, we'll help you, you help us. And the way they can help us is anybody that buys one of these tribute socks to the police department, portions of that will be donated back to PAL, which in turn is going to go straight over to special needs.
That's awesome.
Yes, so we're having the rollout this Friday.
This Friday at our basketball.
Basketball game, so you can pick it up from there.
We're rolling it out this Friday at basketball.
And so coaches against
Yeah.
kids.
Right,
We're having a coaches against kids basketball game.
Right.
And that's with the second session, correct?
Yes.
And
I mean, John's Crazy Socks will be there the whole night for both
John's Crazy
sessions.
Socks will be there for both sessions, and we'll be selling the socks, right?
I'm going to
yes,
talk. Yeah,
I think so.
When we
Yeah.
follow up with John, yeah, you'll have the ability to order them there.
Okay.
I'm sure he'll bring
Hashanah.
some to show
Rosh
us.
Hashanah. Ooh.
Right.
And
So the plan worked.
there we go. So, will we be able to maybe get a link or something that we can put up on our website that people
Yes,
can,
we're going to
okay.
work on that too.
Oh, good.
This is basically just like the big announcement, basically, is what
Announcement.
this
And
is.
as a matter
right.
of fact, just to show you how they think, we saw them in the beginning of the summer, and paperwork. Let's make this official. Let's have this partnership. Great. They've already sent us some money. Okay.
Wow.
Granted, we're not out there, but they just said, "Here's our commitment. We're showing you. Our commitment is to you and this program that
Wow.
we talked about." So yeah, they're just They're
partnership.
excited about us. Yeah,
That's
Good
great.
partnership. Yeah.
and we're going to do that as we get more into programs that we have. John's Socks is going to be on there.
That's awesome.
All right,
Love
so
it.
it's just a click, and it's again, it's
Right.
not just those kind of socks you can get too. We saw some of the socks. They got some cool socks.
Oh,
on there.
absolutely.
They got a lot, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we encourage you to buy the police tribute ones because that's
It
gonna
comes
help
back
us
to
out.
special needs, yes.
Yeah, and if you're not, just send us a check in place of that, okay?
Yeah.
We accept all kind of donations, just so you know.
That's it. That's right.
We don't have any
Venmo.
catchy tunes or anything. It's just Nassau County Police Activities League. Just send it over. We know the right place for it to be sent to.
Catchy tune. All right, so yeah, I guess we're gonna wrap it up. The website. Tell everybody where they can get information on the special
So
needs.
our website is www.specialneedspal.com. Correct?
Org.org.
Org. I
.org,
always
yeah.
mix that up. But it's one word,
Yeah.
specialneedspal.org.
And we have our Facebook page that we keep updated.
We do.
Regularly,
Nassau
yeah.
County Special Needs PAL.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you want to plug your OnlyFans while we're at it?
And I just like to thank the Academy.
Just so you know, too, if you even just get into the general Nassau County
Yeah.
PAL,
There's a drop down.
There's a drop down that will bring
For
you
the
directly to
locations, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
The special needs is right in there as well, too.
Yeah, and we'll quickly mention to all the PALs. I mean, they all do tremendous things. They've been very supportive of us.
Yep.
Just and they're all over the place still. I mean, I remember hearing about it as a kid, but even now, they're all out there. They're still doing
We
great
got
things.
about 30 units out there, all kinds of, from West County to East County, everywhere around the county.
Yeah, you say 30.
Yeah.
That's just Nassau
Yeah,
alone,
just
right?
Nassau
Just
County.
Nassau
Wow.
alone, yeah.
That's amazing. I didn't even realize it was that
Yeah.
much. Wow.
And also, I want to mention too, we are Nassau County Special Needs PAL, but knowing that we don't have anything for special needs kids in Queens and Suffolk, we do welcome
Yes.
everyone.
Oh, yeah, we have some.
And we do
We've
have
had kids,
yes.
kids
Yeah.
from Queens and Suffolk, so
Right.
Yeah.
if you don't have to live in Nassau County to come to our unit.
Right. And if anybody, you're a little worried about joining a program because of certain people, don't worry about it.
Everyone goes through a thorough background check.
Yeah, that's true.
Tony, we'll talk later.
All right, very nice. I think we're gonna. So thank you there. Thank you, Rich Lopos. Thank you, Frank Holguin. Thank you, Joe DeBarry. Thank you, Eileen Simone. I always want to. I still want to say
They went
Forte.
over,
I
Simone.
was going to say Hoburg.
Yeah.
Right. And
Call me when you want.
Because I go by. I'm so used to Facebook. Right?
I know,
it's just-
Forte, yeah.
There's a million nice names.
Yeah, all right.
And Rob
All right.
Pickus, Nassau County PAL, SNU. Thank you guys for coming in and hanging out tonight. I really appreciate it. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. So, thank you very
you,
much.
Tony.
Paid for
Thank
this,
you.
though?
Thank
What's
you.
that?
We getting paid for this?
No snacks, nothing. No snacks. No
I'm just hoping to have a
water.
job tomorrow after this.
You ain't the only one. They might be out there taking the car and the van away right now.
All right, everybody enjoy the rest of your Monday. Well, yeah, I hope you enjoy, even
Sunday.
though it's, I know, but I'm recording this and it's playing
sorry.
tomorrow.
This is live.
This is why I'm here and she's not. Enjoy the rest of your day on this, but hope you make the best of it on this sad day. And we'll see you tomorrow on Tuesday. We do Tuesday trivia every Tuesday, where we come in. Who's ever here with me, we ask random trivia questions, and the people at home can answer them, and we read. I look at the monitor and I see what their comments are, and they're always wrong, and I just make fun of. We do not have a smart viewership. They're
So we don't have a smart host.
So your
either,
mom's going to
apparently.
yell at you again.
Absolutely.
Your only viewer.
Absolutely. All right, we're out of here. And I think Chris Thomas is she's a regular viewer here. She's an old friend of mine. She comes in here a lot. I think she's doing Tuesday trivia with me tomorrow. She is the iPhone lady.
Oh, okay.
Oh, cool.
All right.
Chris Thomas,
Yeah.
the viewers know her. She's in here all the time. Yes, we try to start new programs. We don't just stick with the usual routine. And Chris Thomas, she teaches. She goes to libraries and she teaches people how to use little tricks with iPhones, especially when taking pictures. And I
Admit it.
And we're
what's that?
Easy.
We're gonna start a
Oh,
program
Chris!
tomorrow.
I tell Chris all the time.
That's awesome.
Oh, she's beautiful. Yeah, I tell him. Teach me, those tricks.
We
But
can find this podcast, by the
selfies.
way.
what's that?
In
How
the
you find
class,
this
he took the
podcast?
class.
This
to see how
podcast?
the
Yeah.
class was, and he's like,
Gov's, it's on YouTube. Gov's Comedy Club Podcast.
On YouTube, not on like Apple iPod.
No. This is just video.
Okay. Gotcha.
So Gov's Comedy Club Podcast on YouTube and Facebook.
Yeah, it's on Facebook. That's why I watch it.
Yeah. Although this show you don't see it on Facebook, it's only on YouTube. So there you go. So that's it. All right, everybody, enjoy yourselves. We'll see you later. That's it. We're out.
Knockem Dead Comedy's murder mystery themes include a mob show, a redneck wedding, a high school reunion, a family reunion with a luau theme, or your own custom show.
Johnny, you have a good time tonight or what?
Had an awesome time.
All right. She had a great time. KDC, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, all right.
Fundraisers, private parties, corporate events, restaurants, and more. Contact Knockem Dead Comedy for your event today.